Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Ben and Sin. I am Sin. I am by myself. Ben had a few things to take care of, so he won't be in today's video. So I just decided I'll just go ahead and record it myself. No big deal. But today's video is going to be like a quick review or reaction on a book that I just recently read. It's a short ebook. Let me see if I can find the book. So pretty much this book is a guidebook to a long-lasting love, and the target for the people reading this book, yes, it can be for people in relationships, long-term relationships, but it's more so for people who are engaged, married, people who have been married for a very long time, pretty much for anyone who's in a relationship where they feel like they've reached that point where they've hit like a rut. Things have become too routine, too comfortable. There's no spice in your relationship. You just feel like it's just something missing, and which in my opinion, this is the one of the greatest things that leads to divorce. People get comfortable, they stop doing what they did in the beginning of the relationship, and they just eventually, you know, grow apart, when in reality they just stopped growing together. You know, it's not necessarily that they grew apart, they just had no interest in trying to grow together, that they just decided to go their own separate ways. So it's a quick, when I say quick read, it is a quick read, about like 14-15 pages. And when I say gets to the point, like literally each topic that they touch on, whether it's intercourse or communication, giving your significant other space, like any possible topic that you could think of that could be the reason that your relationship is falling apart, this book touches base on that. And it touches base on that within like a 1-2 page type thing, and it's on to the next topic. So it's quick to the point. I really liked it. And honestly, reading it actually helped me realize that there were some things that I need to work on. A lot of times in relationships, we tend to play the blame game. We just think that our spouse just, or significant other, just doesn't understand us, when in reality it's both ways. A lot of times I want something for our relationship that just may not be what we need right now. You know, like if, for example, I feel like the communication aspect of our relationship is suffering, I shouldn't try to fix that by providing materialistic materials. Hey, here's a new watch, here's a new this, here's a new that, because that's not going to fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it touches base on like the root of many of our issues, and it gives you that window to be able to look at your relationship and say, hey, this is what I need to work on, this is what we need to work on, this is what we can do better. So the author of the book, her name is Sophie James, and she has her own blog, her own website. It is called My Blissful Life Journey. I believe she has a Facebook page as well, but I'm going to leave the link to the website, her blog site, and to the ebook directly in the link below, in the description box below. Link below. What am I saying? Whatever. I'm going to leave all that information in the description box below so that you guys can take a read. And again, it's super short, super quick, and to the point, that like literally if you can't get through these 15 pages, you probably need to go back to school. And it breaks it down into such simple language that anyone can read, you know, like whether you're like in a new relationship and you're like in your early 20s, you don't know crap about relationships, you can read this so that you can prevent these things from happening in the future, you know. And I say it all the time, date night, super important. This book touches base on that. You know, allowing your significant other to be free. I'm trying to work on that. I'm gonna admit, I tend to be the clingy one in the relationship, where like I want Ben to be like attached to my hip, and he's just like, oh, just go out with your friends, I'll just go. And I'm like, well, why don't you go with me, blah blah blah. So, you know, I'm trying to work on that. But you know, allow your significant other to have a life outside the relationship, and you'll find that it makes your relationship stronger because you guys have each other, and then you have your lives outside of each other. Now, when we say having a life outside of each other, we're not talking about leading a whole double life, different life, where you're out there doing dirt, out there being with other women, being with other men, and all this other nonsense. But I'm talking about being able to, you know, have your friends that you can hang out with, that you can go to, and you can say, hey, honey, I just want some time to, you know, unwind and relax. I'm gonna take a trip, like a weekend trip with my friends, you know, and I'm just gonna go away for a little bit, relax. And you should trust your significant other to know that when they go out with their friends, they're not out doing dirt. But unless they give you a reason not to trust them, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I definitely think it's worth it. I do wish that some aspects were a little bit longer, because I feel like there are certain things like communication that are common factors in the reasons why relationships end, like things like finances and things like that, things that couples argue about a lot. I feel like if it touched base on those a little bit more, it could give people more insight as to what they could do to make things better. You know, I feel like the book focused more on like things that cause your relationship to fizzle out, not like the core problems that most relationships have, you know. So I definitely think it's worth the read. You never know, you may learn something about yourself, you may learn something about your relationship, you may learn something about your significant other in reading the book, because it's a very open-minded perspective that allows you to see both sides. And I personally think that if I do take the advice and, you know, follow some of the guides, some of the suggestions in the guidebook, that my relationship will thrive and it will be much stronger. Because again, I tell you guys this all the time, you guys are probably tired of hearing it, but Ben and I are going on 10 years next year. So, you know, we've already hit those times where in our relationship we just felt like we were bored, or we just felt like, you know, it's too routine, like it's just fizzling out and things like that. But because of the fact that we're just so used to routine and so used to being comfortable with one another, like we've always just found a way to just naturally get out of those ruts. But you know, reading this book, like it does get harder the longer you are together. So it gives you that extra insight so that you can take those extra necessary steps to ensure that you have a long-lasting love, you know. So to anyone who reads the guidebook, if you do take the time out to read it, look into it, you know, to let them know that Christina sent you, you know. I am going to have the information in the description box below. I definitely think it's worth the read. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. And, you know, support, because I feel like the fact that she's a young woman willing to touch base on, you know, something that is such a big issue in the marriage community in general, you know, like there are people who are much older than her who don't understand the concepts that she explained in this ebook, you know. So I definitely think it's worth the read. There's a lot to learn from it. That's enough rambling from me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was quick and to the point. Tried to keep it under 10 minutes. I think I did okay. With that being said, I ask that you like, comment, subscribe, smash that notification bell so that you guys are notified when we post again. And we will see you guys next week. Later.